What's up, my Vina loves? It's Miss Vina D, and you're watching Vina-tainment Unfiltered. When I tell you Twitter is dragging Tiffany from the cookout, the last season of Big Brother, yes, that Tiffany. Now, a few days ago, Tiffany posted her interview with Monty, okay? And she was very, soft on him. You know, everyone, well, I'm not included, but majority of what I saw, people were waiting for her interview with Monty, okay? Because there was a moment there where on social media, during her interviews, during her review of the season, she was letting Monty have it. And then Monty and Taylor had that moment. And you could see something shifted where she was kind of here for it, okay? She was a supporter of Monte, okay? Taylor and Monty having something. And then when that didn't work out, then she started to shift back to, I'm not here for Monty. Now, the show is over and everything. This is just based on what I've noticed with Tiffany and on social media. So most people were like, Monty keeps pretending in these interviews whenever they ask him about his behavior. There was, Taylor pretending like he doesn't remember. Oh, we know if there's anyone who's going to hold him accountable, ask him the tough questions, it will be Tiffany. Monty gets to the interview and Tiffany doesn't do any of that, okay? She's asking questions, but they're not hard-hitting questions. She's not holding him accountable. No one is saying Tiffany should have gone on her platform or on the podcast that she's on, raise her words, become angry. No. Just ask direct questions in a very professional way and hold him accountable regardless if he wants to answer them or not, and then move on. She didn't do that. And this is what happened. According to Tiffany, when she physically saw Monty after the finale, she couldn't just simply say hi and bye and I'm going to wait for my interview. I'm going to keep all this energy for my interview. She goes, according to her, during the interview, she pulls in the side and she starts going in. Of course, we didn't get to see any of this. This is her word and Monty's word against, whatever. She said during the interview, you were probably thinking, who is this crazy woman attacking me like this? I just came off, the show, Can I Breathe? And they're both laughing. Okay, so according to Tiffany, she released all of her anger and energy that she would have had on the podcast. She did it behind closed doors when she had her private moment with Monty. And because Monty was co-signing her, the public just need to believe that and move on. So by the time she got to do a sit-down interview with Monty, that energy was no longer there because she got to talk to him. She got to hear his reason behind certain things. And now we are just doing an interview for the public, but I'm not in that space anymore. Basically, she got dragged for that. So when Tiffany got called out in her first tweet, she wrote how, she had 30 minutes to recap 3 months, yet Monty stayed an additional 30 minutes at no obligation. If you listen to the interview, you will hear me say that I am also not a broken record, repeating the same content that's already out there. Girl, bye. Her second excuse was, and if you don't understand that this franchise presents business opportunities and my podcast is a business, it's not for me to help you understand that. Carry on. Stay tuned for my next interviews, okay? So you had responses like, a business decision means ignoring the true trauma a Black woman faced. Thank you for showing yourself. Thank you. Another response, she's showed herself time and time again. How many chances are y'all gonna give her? And the comments kept getting worse. But you are already on YouTube listening to me. So all you have to do is type in Tiffany and Monty interview and read the comments. It is literally right here on YouTube. I really want to get to the second part of this video. And when I have to pause and include all of social media reactions, and read majority of those tweets and just make it longer than it should be. All you have to do, like I said, you're already here. Go to the comments and you will see exactly what I'm talking about after that Monty interview. And if you're on Twitter, you already know what happened. Most of you know what dragging is, okay? I'm not saying anyone is being physically assaulted, okay? Dragging is the slang for you're getting red, people are calling you out, and, some insults are being thrown around on social media, okay? She got dragged for that.
So, of course, Taylor came to her rescue. Okay, I've had a single mimosa, so now I'm ready to release a few tuts. 1, she's going to be annoyed I'm saying this, but I don't care. Tiffany has gone above and beyond to take care of me and hold people accountable on my behalf. She has done this behind the scenes, but she has done it. If you're a fan of mine, you will lay off her. Sorry for the delay. I poured another mimosa. I sometimes fear I may have been too kind, gracious, patient in the house, and that it's set me up for a hard fall from grace the moment I show anger or pettiness. Please don't forget I have a full range of emotions. And so one of Taylor's supporters responded, "Love you, Queen, but I'm going to have to ignore this. We need to see her holding people accountable on her platform, not behind the scenes. The disrespect about you happened publicly. Do you want entertainment or accountability?" was the next response. So at this point, Taylor was doing back-to-back interviews, and now she was on Twitter defending Tiffany. So this person tweeted, "Take a mental health break, please." Basically, girl, you just got out the house, take a break. But Taylor was in her bed reading tweets. So to her, I'm not doing anything that's going to affect anything. But the person was just saying, reading all of the hate and then trying to defend Tiffany, take a break, okay? So the next response was, "Respectfully, Taylor, I can't do that. She did all this talk about calling out Monty on her podcast, but when given the chance to do it, she didn't. If a public figure can't hold people accountable publicly, what good does it serve? I would just drag her in the group chat though, LOL." No one is saying rakes your job on a podcast. No one is saying go on there and be screaming and be angry. No, people were just saying hold him accountable. Now, whether Monty wanted to take responsibility or not, that's different. But all of the energy that you had on your podcast when he was in the house, where was that energy? That's it. But according to her, that energy was released privately, and people are not here for it. The thing is, you are on the platform and on the podcast for a reason. Your voice matters. So if you are saying, "Oh, I'm going to sugarcoat things and I'm going to move differently for corporate, because I don't want to upset these folks," then why are you there? And yes, let's talk about it, because race was brought up a lot. To them, she's the black voice, and a black woman was verbally, emotionally, and mentally abused in that house. And so they felt like Tiffany was going to question Monty and hold him accountable publicly, and she didn't do that. And the energy that she had towards Joseph, we're going to get to it soon, she didn't have that same energy towards Monty. I'm going to read 2 more and then I'm going to move on. "Taylor, I'm sorry, but I just can't. She has a public platform and should be using it to call out what he did for all the viewers. They have to know. Behind the scenes isn't enough, because half the ish that man has done wasn't shown at all. The least she could have done," this person meant, "is do what Kat did." So people were like, so are you saying you're being a sellout and you're choosing your job over holding people accountable, over being honest, and over being a Tiffany that was on the podcast while Monty was in the house? Where was your job and opportunity when you were going in on him when he was in the house? You had all that energy when he was in the house. Where was that energy? So it was okay to bring that energy to your podcast
when he wasn't physically there. But the moment he was in your presence, for you to hold him accountable and ask him those questions, you didn't. That's where they're coming from. Tiffany dropped the ball. She didn't want to admit it. And so she was just like, hey, I talked to him privately. And I'm not saying she didn't talk to him privately. People are just calling her out because she got them all hyped up and then disappointed them when she had the opportunity. And that's it. My issue with Tiffany actually has nothing to do with how she's handling the treatment of you as in Taylor. So there is no correlation. My issue with Tiffany has to do with her general lack of self-awareness on a podcast with two men who downplay Black women's contributions daily. So, Monty, when you were in the house, you said this about Taylor. You did this to Taylor. Why did you do that? And do you feel... That's it. Calmly ask the questions and remind him of the things he did. No one was asking for an angry woman screaming. No. You can calmly ask the questions, be professional, and still be effective. But majority of the other comments went down a different road, and that's why I'm not putting this in here. Oh, she want Monty. You saw the tweets I posted earlier when she wrote to turn the HOH room camera back on. She's in love. When Taylor and Monty was having their moment, the Jayla supporters, meaning Taylor and Joseph, they are not here for Tiffany right now. I want to go back to this tweet. Okay, she's not 50. We all going to get there in age one day, so chill on that. But this person wrote, mind you, this is a 50-year-old woman excited over this, knowing all the ish Monty was saying about Taylor. She dedicated a whole podcast episode about it, had her facts, and basically she had her facts straight then, okay? So Tiffany, wanted the HOH room camera back on. She did a whole podcast about that whole situation. And basically she had all of her facts straight. But when she did her interview with Joseph, there was one segment that people just felt like she didn't have her facts straight and she was unprofessional. And so we're going to get into that. So fast forward to Tiffany interview with Joseph. Now, I'm going to do this in a separate video because I have a lot more content and I do not want to do an over 20 minutes video. So I'm going to do the Joseph one separately. But I do want to say there was a segment of that interview that ended up on Twitter and other social media platforms that led to things getting even worse for Tiffany. But I did see the interview, and it wasn't to the extent of how that little clip that made its round around social media made it look like. Even though in that moment she was unprofessional, she did interrupt him, and people just felt like, how dare you give the man who had Taylor's back this energy, but you didn't give it to the man who degraded her? We're going to leave it there. Now, look, yes, it's a show, it's a game. People need to move on. People are doing too much, taking it too far. You have to understand these are supporters of Big Brother. Even if you just take Taylor out of it, these are supporters. They watch the show religiously, and they are just calling things out. It comes with it, but I'm not here for the cyberbullying or hitting below the belt or just taking things too far. You can have your opinion. You can express yourself as long as you are not just going too far with it. Then it's all good because it's a show. And the people who are dispassionate is the reason why the show is going into its 25th season. And regardless of Monty's reason for taking Taylor with him to the final two, he still placed her in a position for her to make history. She did the work herself to get to that point, but had he taken Turner, it would have been a different outcome. So regardless, still shout out to the man for taking our girl to the final two, and she won. And as far as Taylor and Tiffany and also to the supporters, Taylor have to learn these lessons herself. You can defend Taylor, you can disagree with how certain people are moving, but then just back off and let Taylor do her thing. She's a grown woman. If she say, listen, this is my girl, I'm good, let Taylor do her thing and learn her lesson. And that's that, because she knows Tiffany personally and she knows what she's talking about. But we can all respectfully agree to disagree. There's absolutely nothing wrong with healthy dialogue and expressing. You can rock with someone and still be like, I'm not here for this, but still respectfully move on. As long as we're not hitting below the belt and, bullying each other, it's all good. And I'll be back with the Tiffany and Joseph interview and everything that went down on social media. And once again, you already know Taylor is in the mix and how she's rocking. I'm wishing all of you well and take care. Now, loves, thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also, turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.